Well, they're not going after Jordan Montgomery. Why? Because he's a jag. He's just a guy. And Joey Loperfido continues to turn heads. And what is the news, the latest on Jose Urquidy? Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Buenos días, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us your daily listen, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. And Brett, where can you find you tonight with your greenish hat on?
That's right. They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. Thanks for recognizing the sweet lid. It is called the Viper, and it's by the 8-1 shop in Houston. So thank you, guys. I appreciate the nod for the lid. It's got the 45 patch on the side. But, tonight we talk about how Dana Brown talked down Mr. Jordan Montgomery, Monty himself, and some, I guess, good news for Jose Urquidy. It looks like the cabbage was not ripe just yet, and Loperfido, he continues to cook. Let Joey cook. And then Altuve wants to be a speedster, Eric. And where are all the haters at? Well, they be like haters, and we don't know what he's thinking or how he even knows how this is going to shake out. So, Eric, tell us, what did Dana Brown have to say about Jordan Montgomery? Why have they not prized him as the next target?
All right, so we'll get to Jose Urquidy in a second, but definitely a lot of people on this podcast have been saying, why don't you go get Jordan Montgomery? It makes a lot of sense. I know you have questioned it too. Why is nobody talking about Jordan Montgomery? And Jim Bowden earlier today put out a tweet that said the Astros do not plan on pivoting to Jordan Montgomery, according to sources. Later on in the night, Chandler Rome did come up with an article with some quotes from Dana Brown. And this is what Dana Brown had to say on Blake Snell. We were having conversations. I don't know how close we were. I thought we had a chance. Obviously, the Giants were willing to do more, but we were having conversations with him. That's the only thing you could do is get involved, take it where you're able to take it, and leave it at that. So now, where do they go from here? They're having all the we showed the little display yesterday. We have a lot of absent starters to start the season. And a lot of people, including Dana Brown, even when he was trying to make these trades, he said that they feel really good about what they have in the room. They really feel good about this. But this is what he had to say about the rest of the starting pitchers on the free agent market. Well, Blake Snell was a different guy. If we have a bunch of guys that are similar to the other guys that are available, why go after them? Why pay money for the same production? We felt like if we got Snell, that's a huge piece. So you have to be in the market for a guy that's a huge piece like that. But the other guys that are available, they compare to all of our guys that we have depth with. I wouldn't want to pay money, and we've got a guy right around the minimum or a little bit more. That wouldn't be smart. So basically, Brett, he just compared Jordan Montgomery with Brandon Bielak.
Well, I don't know. I think that's a little nuanced. I don't think he compared him to Brandon Bielak because Jordan Montgomery is a front-end starter. But basically what he's saying is this. Now, everybody in here, including myself, like you had mentioned, has been calling for Jordan Montgomery. And I hadn't thought about this. But when you compare Jordan Montgomery to the other pitchers that we do currently have that are healthy, their counter argument is he's a jag. He's just a guy. He's just one of the guys. He hasn't separated himself outside of a a really good postseason run, and you can't ignore that. You know, a guy in the playoffs. I mean, Urquidy's the most winning international pitcher in baseball history with 3-0. And so he has that under his belt. But Montgomery just doesn't wow the scouts, just doesn't wow the other teams. And I've actually heard this from people who do some scouting, who have done scouting in the past. They're like, they just don't believe in Jordan Montgomery, that he is one of those guys. And look, I read an article today by Ken Rosenthal, who broke down the Blake Snell thing and basically the kind of the conundrum that Boris is in. And all his clients, his last 4 clients, wanted $200 to $300 million, and they got way less than that. So he's getting his clients to bet on themselves. And look, Snell's thing may turn around for him. He walks away only after 15, and he'll get that other deferred money. He'll get a total of 32 when he walks. But he's going to bet on himself. And if he pitches well this year and wins another Cy Young, he's going to get paid massively. So it may work out for him. But Montgomery just appears as just like all the other guys. Now, my counter to that is, but you don't have a lot of them that are healthy right now. And Urquidy, when he comes back, you don't know what he's going to produce. And you don't even know what kind of contributions that Belak will make. Or can Dubin come up? Can Arrighetti, can he handle it? He's a rookie. He would be a rookie. They don't want to start his clock. I mean, there's so many questions. I'm just like, why wouldn't we find somebody? But it makes sense. They're going to be producing the same as the guys they have. And if the trade doesn't make you better, there's no point in the trade. If the signing doesn't make you better, there's no point in doing the signing.
Yeah. So I think that if you're looking at this, does a signing make you better, like you just said? Also, what's the after cost? Like we talked about going way over the luxury tax threshold. You're going to have to give up the extra draft pick for signing Blake Snell. Jordan Montgomery, there's no draft pick attached to him, so you wouldn't have to have that penalty there. You wouldn't have to move back 10 draft spots in the first round of the draft. So there's a lot of things that the Astros were just a little bit hesitant to do because it was Blake Snell, but they were willing to do it because it was Blake Snell. He has the stuff. He's the ace out there. He was the ace out there, and he was the ace in the hole, so to speak. And Michael Lorenzen is the guy out there that you can basically pay for peanuts. And he can come out there and basically do an adequate job, maybe a 3 or 4 starter. But like Dana Brown says, is it really worth it? But one thing that we could talk about on a later show, Brett, is how does everything that happened to Scott Boras's clients this year, how does it affect Alex Bregman? Does Alex Bregman see what's going on and like, wait, I'm sure that I'm going to be the top third baseman on the market out there, but Matt Chapman, if I'm correct, he signed I think he has an opt-out. He could technically opt out, but you have all these guys that thought they're going to get these big deals, and they're not getting the big deals that they thought they would. They're having to wait way into a spring training, so that's the added stress. So is Alex Bregman looking at this and saying, hey, I love playing in Houston. I love this place. Scott, get me as much as you can for the Houston Astros. I don't want to deal with this crap. I don't want to deal with all this crap. And so that could be something that we could talk about later. But I think that Crane was really pushing for Blake Snell. And I think Dana Brown had to be the level head guy here and say, no, boss, I know you want him, but I think at the end of the day, as you say, we got to do what's best for the team. And I think that this would not be best for a team. Would have helped the Astros in 2024? Sure. But it would hurt them when he signs somewhere else next year.
No, yeah. It's just one of those things where you've got to trust. So look, here's the thing. Everybody likes the GM or Dana Brown when he does something they like. But when he does something and they're like, man, he's a genius. He's so good. I know that's exactly why we brought him. And I've literally heard the same people that say that when Dana Brown doesn't do something that they think he should do, man, Dana Brown's an idiot. He just doesn't know what he's doing. I miss Lou now. And I'm like, you can't both love and hate the guy. Like, you're either on his side or you're not. You're either with this team or you're not. Now, you can disagree with the moves. You don't have to be a total homer about everything and say everything's great. But at the end of the day, I'm going to trust the evaluators of the Major League Ball Club that has been to 7 straight ALCS. I'm going to be with the guys that have lost Garrett Cole, Dallas Keuchel, George Springer. Who else? Who else have we lost? Carlos Correa. You know what I'm saying? Charlie Morton. I mean, we've lost a lot of
Garrett Cole. Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett Cole. I mean, we've lost a lot of key arms. We've lost a lot of key players, right? But the bottom line is this: we've maintained. Now, this year may be tough because the competition's gotten better. I'm just gonna have to trust with what we got, man. I'm gonna ride or die with this team no matter what. So I just can't be overly negative about it.
So we're going to talk about Jose Urquidy in a second, and then Trey Cabbage, the big what if he clicks from the offseason. He didn't really cook properly, so he's going to go back to the minor leagues. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, that's right. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is an amazing thing, and I want to tell you all about it. We know that it's really basketball season. High-stakes basketball moments are here, and you can get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Now, if you want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like Meek Mill and Sugar Shane O'Malley, you can find community plays under the promos tab on the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in PrizePicks community each week. Conference tournaments are done and March Madness is here. The seeding has been picked, and the Cougars are the consistent #1 for basketball games. If you have a player who exits a game in the first half and does not return in the second, the player projection won't count against you for the rest of the entry. Still lives, okay? Stays live. Players and stat types you're selecting highlight your winnings on PrizePicks. How fun and simple this experience is. So go and download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match of $100. That's right. It's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, all lowercase letters. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Hey, guess what? It's opening day. Well, not really for the Astros, but for MLB baseball, it is. You got the Dodgers versus Padres, and if you want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it, go ahead. That's when it's going to be starting. But it's also the day where you can watch the AL West rivalry matchup on Locked On Sports Today. It's going to be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on March 20th. It's going to be on Amazon Fire TV. You could watch on YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. You could check it out on Locked On Sports Today. And yes, we do rant on the A's probably being the worst team in baseball. We talk about the Vegas Stadium and who's going to be MVP. So go and check out the AL West preview show with all the hosts from the AL West. And that's going to be coming out a little bit later on tonight if you're watching today, or tomorrow if you're watching it tonight, whatever it is. Brett, unmute yourself.
I just want to dispel this real quick. You could have thrown $95 million at Blake Snell. He wouldn't have come here. He still wanted a 1-year opt-out. Okay. He's getting $32 million. He's getting basically $15 million. Okay. Then the rest of that's deferred until 26. He's still getting $32 million this next year. That is a hit of $32 million against the Giants cap. If you hit the Astros with $32 million, you are basically giving them a $45 million tax hit.
Right.
So that $95 million thrown at Snell. Snell was not ever coming here. Snell was going to stay on the West Coast. It's clear. It's abundantly clear. The Yankees offered him big money, and he told them no.
150,000 million. I mean,
150,000. The minor league minimum, 150,000, and an in-and-out franchise.
Yes, but speaking of somebody who spent some time in minor leagues, Jose Urquidy, he is doing a little bit better. There's some positives and some negatives about what they've said about him. They said the MRI revealed no damage to his UCL, and he hopes to resume the throwing program in the next 10 to 15 days. And Dana Brown estimated that Urquidy would miss about a month. So he already had Tommy John surgery in 2017. And I love how Urquidy's looking at his own MRI. He's like, yeah, we took a look at everything inside the elbow, and ligament was fine. And he's like, part of the muscle looks kind of white, which means inflammation. I have to take out the inflammation and start doing rehab exercises with my fingers and throwing a medicine ball this weekend and see how I feel. So I'm happy with that. So he's going to be out for about a month. We still have not seen Justin Verlander in a game yet this spring training. So I think that I think this is best news for the Astros is that Urquidy is only going to be out for a month. It's not another Tommy John, but it is something that is going to hurt them, especially at the time where they need him the most, which is that brutal schedule to start season where you have 20 games in 21 days, and you're facing the Yankees, the Rangers, the Braves right out of the gate.
Exactly. Look, it looks like they're not going to be able to go with the 6-man rotation. They may have to go with the 5-man rotation, and it's just going to tax your bullpen. But
I think Brandon Bielak is going to be your 6th starter.
Oh, you think? Okay. So you have Ronell and then Bielak in the back end.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even have to start he doesn't have to be a 6th starter, but when they need him, they can have him come out of bullpen and just do that. So, but I think for definitely the first the first 2 times around, they're probably going to use that because JP France is not going to be totally stretched out yet. So they're going to have some long relievers in that bullpen. And so Brandon Bielak possibly could be in there just as a long reliever. So there could be a case to be made to bring up Spencer Arrighetti at the same time.
Right.
Because he can go multiple innings over somebody else. But the bullpen, there's the final spot in bullpen. I think the final spot on the bench, we'll talk about in a second, is probably the only roster battles we have this spring.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got one pitcher and we've got one fielder that's standing out amongst all of the other guys in camp, and that's a good thing. And look, I know it just like I'm kind of looking at the chat as we're going through the show, and look, we all have different opinions, we all have different thoughts, and our thoughts are all concentrated on we want what's best for this team. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I'm not shutting the doors on the dynasty talk. I'm not closing shop on this run is over. I'm just not there. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to compromise who I am as a club and bring in a guy that all 30 clubs don't think belong in the major leagues. And I'm talking about Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer may have the talent, but he is an absolute heel. He is a cancer. He is not a good person. I'm not even talking about the legal battles. This dude threw a tantrum on the mound and chunked a ball 150 yards because the coach pulled him. He is an immature, petulant child in a big man's body. Bauer does not deserve to grace the presence of this clubhouse. We already made a mistake one time bringing in a guy, and that was a PR nightmare. And that was done at the expense of the club. And Lunau said publicly, this is, we're going to do this and we're going to bring him in. And I don't care if it's tough. You are not bringing Bauer anywhere near this clubhouse and anybody accepting it. So the Bauer talk is done. I mean, nobody is signing him. I don't care if he pitches well against the Yankees in spring training. That doesn't mean crap to me. You know what matters to me? Character, culture. That's what matters to me. And you want to talk about a PR nightmare after the 17 season? Can you imagine if Bauer comes here? And I'm sorry, I can't forgive the guy for wearing trash can shoes and trash Astros gear and all that BS. I mean, no, I'm not hating on Bauer. I'm just saying facts are facts. Sometimes people are just not good people, and bad company corrupts good character. Period. End of story. So I'm sorry, I will never co-sign on Trevor Bauer coming to this team. Neither is any other team in the major leagues. And when they do, I'll eat crow for the team that chooses to get them. But I really don't see it happening. I'm sorry. And
guys,
the KBO. The KBO. It's not even pro baseball. It's like the minor leagues, bro. Come on. How many
Yeah.
KBO guys are stars over here? How many? Like 2? So don't give me that KBO bull. He struck out AAA guys, okay? Whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, to kind of curb the enthusiasm here. Let's go ahead and we need to talk about Joey Loperfido, who you have
Yeah.
a lot of positive thoughts about.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, Altuve's looking to steal bases more. I know that he's also made some mistakes in past, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Brandon Bilek, but definitely, if Bauer was going to be on a team, he would have been on a team by now. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah. All right, we all know what time it is. It's game time, people. That's right. Download the GameTime app today. Use the code Locked On for $20 off. I've used this app and I absolutely love it. Anytime I buy tickets on the third market, I go to these guys. Why? Because they have got last minute ticket deals, flash sales, zone deals, easy to find and buy your tickets of every kind of event in your area. View what it looks like from your seat at the venue, the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. And all-in pricing shows you your total before you get to checkout, because sometimes you go to these other apps, you buy the ticket, you're like, wow, $120. You get to the checkout, 180. Where did that come from? Convenience charges and taxes and blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that. With zone deals, you get to pick the section and the Game Time picks the seats and gives you big time savings. It saves a lot of, you don't have to plan. You don't have to go, okay, honey, we got to plan a month out. No, you know what? Darling, we're going to go out to eat. We're going to enjoy the time, and we're just going to walk out to the ballpark 30 minutes before. I'm going to flip my Game Time app out, and I'm going to get the ticket, girl, and we're going to sit really, really close to the players, and you can yell at Jose Altuve and Kyle Tucker all you want to. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code Locked On, LOCKEDON, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Hey guys, go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. Go and subscribe to us and go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. But go and check out Locked On Sports Today. It's the first ever 24/7 streaming platform out there. It's now on YouTube, and it's definitely on Amazon Fire TV now, on the Amazon Fire TV channels app. So go ahead and download that. You can watch when Brett and I get up on there. You could watch us there. You could stream us up on there. So go ahead and check that out. And tomorrow will be the AL West preview show. So go and check it out. It's going to be on the Locked On Sports Network around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So go and check that out. So Brett, before we move on from this, I do want to talk about Alex Santos. This is the guy that we stole from the Bronx, so to speak. He was he was like New Yorkers wanted him so bad when he was like 19 years old as a pitcher, but the Astros drafted him with the 72 pick overall in 2020. This was his first Grapefruit League great game he pitched this year, and he threw the first pitch was 96 miles per hour, but he threw 2 scoreless innings. It was overly a great appearance, and Joe Espada said that is a much improved Alex Santos than that we saw 2 years ago. He always threw hard. A couple years ago, he just thought he had a tough time throwing strikes. But today, man, I look over at Josh Miller and I said, man, that's a that's a different Santos than we saw in years past. That was a exciting performance what he did today. You know how an X it has the ... and you have to click down there.
No, it's all good. Yeah, no, yeah. And I mean, Alex Santos, I actually was hounding the kid. I've got a really low number autograph card of his, one of his Bowman's first card, because they said he was the best arm to come out of the New York area in like 20 years. I was like, okay, let's go. Diamond in the rough. I want to score on this. But you know, Eric, this leads us to our what we call our Yo Joe segment. We're gonna hear what Joe Espada has to say about Loperfido and some other guys on this roster. So
he'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. Joe Espada, Yo Joe.
That's right, Yo Joe, man. That's right. I mean, when you are in trouble, call Joe Espada. Loperfido is a non-roster invitee, and someone actually asked a question in here. If Pedro Leon would be also up for a spot because he's still in big league camp. And I'll kind of talk about that here towards the end. But this is what Joe Espada did say. Now, he's played just 32 games above AA. Joe Espada said, if you're still in camp, you've got a shot at making this team. That's how I see it. You continue making a case for yourself, and Joey Loperfido has done just that. On the final decisions for his bench, Espada said there is still competition going on right now, and so we'll see where it ends, okay? And then also Joe Espada said today on Jose Abreu, I think it's important. I think he has had a nice spring. He's a valuable piece. I kind of like his bat off the bench. And if the first baseman Jose Abreu needs an off day, I feel pretty good about him playing. About him playing some first base. That was about Carantini, right?
I think that was about Carantini or something.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I got some quotes mixed up. So basically, Trey Cabbage and Trey Hensley were relegated to a minor league camp. Super utility men Dubon and backup catcher Carantini will command the 2 bench spots. John Singleton appears to be a strong chance at another. Now, he's only batting 194, okay? But and maybe that's about John Singleton playing a pretty good first base.
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Joe Espada has been really positive about John Singleton all spring training and said that the bat may not have been there, but he's taking good swings. He's making good contact. And so I think they want to see what he can offer. And then whoever is going to be replacing him will have some time in the minor league. So you got basically you have Corey Julks, Gray Kessinger, and then you have Loperfido basically fighting for that last bench spot. So who gives you the most versatility there? So I know that Gray Kessinger could play first base. He could play a little bit outfield. He could play a little bit around the diamond. So he also has some major league experience. Loperfido is not on the 40-man roster, but you are going to have to put some players on the 60-day IL so you can add them to the roster. And Corey Julks, he's having actually a good spring training. He has 2 home runs, batting 3-something, and with a pretty good OPS.
No, he's hitting the ball well. And this other guy we're talking about, the pitcher, Taylor Scott, he's got a 1.69 ERA, a 0.66 whip, and 10 2/3 innings. He continues to be in the mix, Joe Espada said. He threw the ball really well again. I like his stuff. It plays against both righties and lefties, and he's going to continue to get chances. I think Taylor Scott makes this team. I would bet on Taylor Scott more than I would bet on Loperfido, because Loperfido doesn't make it because he lacks talent or because he's not ready. Loperfido doesn't make it because they want him to play every day, and there's not an everyday spot for Loperfido. Loperfido can man all 3 outfield spots and can play 3 infield positions. So there is another utility guy. Look, I don't know what we're going to do whenever Bregman leaves, but I know Dubon's only played 16 games there in his whole career, but maybe Dubon is a stopgap, or Loperfido. I don't know if he's played third. I know Julks has played some third, and he actually plays a really good third base, by the way. But you can have a stopgap, and if you're really dead set on DeCenzo ascending to that third base spot and you don't go out on the free agent market and get somebody, then you may have a couple different guys platooning at third to make it happen. And you know what? I bet you Dubon would work his you-know-what off to make it there. Now, that's a hot corner, so that's kind of a high call to get someone that's not a natural third baseman. Not everybody can go from their primary position at short and move to third and be an all-star at it like Alex Bregman.
Right. Baseball Reference has Loperfido listed as first baseman, second baseman, and a outfield. He's played left field, right field, center field. So he's basically played every outfield position, but he has not played third base. So I don't think that would be an option. I don't know exactly what his arm is, but I think what they're looking at is who would be better. And they're looking for a left-hander off the bench. And I really honestly think I love John Singleton's story, but Loperfido should be on the team and getting regular bats. And that means getting rest. But at the same time, doesn't mean every day. I'm not saying every day.
But regular at bats, though, means he's playing almost every day. There's just not a place for him to do that right now, unless you have an injury. I mean,
you can rest players.
Yeah, but you can't rest him. You
But
can't
then you
rest
gotta get Dupont regular bats too. Look how hot
Yeah.
he's been doing. So
Loperfido right now, I think it's best to put him in AAA. Let him crush AAA. Let him continue to grow his confidence. And so, and hopefully, he's one of my targets to interview for the show at the beginning of the year if he ends up in Sugarland. But he's still got a shot. Look, I don't begrudge a man if he makes the major leagues, right? There's a lot to still talk about. And Eric, I really think we're gonna have a good season. I don't think it, guys, calm down. I don't think it's all bad, but we will keep you in line with everything going on, all things Astros.
all right. So somebody remind us about the spoiled cabbage. We do have to I know we mentioned that he went down, but the Astros are still high on him. Joe Espada said towards the end, it was better. I wish there was better results, but my conversations with him, it went well. He understands, and he knows that he just needs everyday at bats. We believe in him, his ability, his power, his speed, his versatility is something that we really like. So they're going to send him down AAA, and he's going to do what it takes. So
I've seen him match at Consolation Field when he was with the Angels AAA club. So
the thing that he's got to cut back on is the strikeouts. He's averaging the same amount of strikeouts he did in major leagues and the minor leagues. So it's something that is going to haunt him, and it's going to keep him out of playing with the Houston Astros. So you can hit 50,000 home runs if you want, but if you're going to strike out 50% of your bats, unless you're Adam Dunn, you're not going to.
If you hit 50,000 home runs, please come play for us. All right. That's all tonight, Eric. This is a great show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all bantering back and forth with us. This is another great edition of Locked On Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. He's Eric the Man Huysman. And as we always say, Eric,
go Astros. And it be like that.
Yeah, you let me do it. Yeah, rock on.